going on YouTube? Reezonocz back once again, and what I'm doing now is I'm coming at you with part 5. I figured it out, it's part 5. Part 5 of the most immersive video games of all time, continuing on with the GameCube. So, we left off last time, I believe, on Wave Race Blue Storm. So now we're going to pick it up right with the next game, Super Mario Sunshine. Super Mario Sunshine got a lot of flack from, how can I say this without offending anybody? Retarded people, okay? Because it wasn't as revolutionary as Mario 64. Newsflash, nothing that has come out since Mario 64, and this is Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 included, is ever going to be as revolutionary as Mario 64. You're talking about the birth, the genesis of 3D gaming, okay? It's never going to happen again, okay? But that does not mean that this is not a very great game, because it is. It's a phenomenal game. It's a phenomenal installment in the Mario series, and I'll tell you this, it's the most challenging Mario game ever made, as far as the 3D ones go, that's for sure. The reason I picked it as one of the most immersive games of all time is for the same reason I picked Mario 64. The beautiful layout and design of the worlds and the originality to take it out of the Mushroom Kingdom into a whole other world. Delfino Square, Delfino Isle, where you know, it's a vacationing spot, and there's this clone Mario, imposter Mario running around doing all these crimes, and Mario's got to clear his name. Awesome look to this game, tropical paradise look, great soundtrack, levels that dwarf the levels of Mario 64. I mean, it's just, how can you not pick this as one of the most immersive games of all time? It is just that. Next, Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader, the sequel to the real traditional sequel to Rogue Squadron on the N64, because like I showed you on the N64, I picked Rogue Squadron and Battle for Naboo. You can consider Battle for Naboo a type of sequel to Rogue Squadron, but not really, not storyline wise, because it takes place in a whole other time and in a whole other storyline. Rogue Squadron Rogue Leader is the real sequel, the straight up sequel to Rogue Squadron. And it was a launch game on the GameCube, and the graphics are so to die for that to this day, I mean, the GameCube came out in 2001? 11 years later, this still stands up very well against today's graphics. The CGIs, the cinematic portions of the game look like you're watching the movie. The immersiveness of getting in the cockpit of an X-Wing starfighter and careening and barreling down the Death Star trench to shoot that final proton torpedo down the hole at the end of the trench to destroy the Death Star. I know by the way I'm talking I sound retarded to any people out there who don't know what I'm talking about. I think I'm a nerd. I'm talking about proton torpedoes and Death Star trenches and all that. Yo, Star Wars is the bomb, man. Yo, this game's immersiveness, the interactiveness of being able to get in the cockpit of your favorite ships from the Star Wars universe and fly through some of the most iconic missions in full 3D with the graphical power that the Cube had to offer. It was just, and the music and the soundtrack being there, and it was like, yo, you were there. You were part of the Rogue Squadron. You were part of the group of pilots that was attacking the Death Star or attacking the prisons on Kessel or whatever, man. It was amazing, man. It was definitely one of the best. And I include in that Rogue Squadron 3 Rebel Strike, which I also have, but I'm just not going to bring it out here. Because like I said, I don't want to bring all the sequels out here. Next, my favorite GameCube game of all time. Of all time. And people could talk and say whatever they want. It is the best GameCube game of all time. And that is Starfox Adventures. This game was so epic and so well designed. What caught me about this game, I'll be honest with you, this copy right here, it is mine now because it's been too damn long for him to want it back. But I borrowed this from my little cousin a long time ago, man. A long time ago. Because I was bored of the GameCube games I had and I wanted something to play something new. I had heard about this, didn't even read about it, didn't interest me at all. I borrowed it from him. And I will fight him to the death to keep it, okay? This is the best GameCube game. I mean, what got me about this game is I pop it in, I'm playing, and from the very get-go, I'm gripped by a story and an attention to detail and the animation and the movements of the characters and just an attention to realism in this fantasy animated world that just grabbed me. And by the time I got to Thorntail Hollow, the first you know, on Dinosaur Planet, the first place that you start off and you start exploring and you start your story mode, it was just like, wow, bro, this is beautiful. It's a lush, it's a tropical jungle. There's trees as far as the eye can see. It's got day and night cycles like The Legend of Zelda. Stars in the sky at night, the moon lowers, the sun raises, and all of a sudden it's daytime. And I mean, the dinosaurs looked real but fantasy, a perfect mixture. I mean, it was just gorgeous. And the storyline and the different environments, I mean, forget about it. Starfox Adventures, that is a gripping, engrossing story and adventure that will take you from the first minute you play it to the very last one and just take you on a hell of a ride, man. And that's what video games are about. So, that's that. Next, Simpsons Hit and Run. Player's choice again. This game, I give it the nod of approval for one of the most immersive games of all time because it takes you into Springfield. Okay, you are in Springfield. Okay, it reproduces Springfield in 3D so faithfully to the show of The Simpsons that we grew up watching that you feel like you're literally driving throughout the streets and the back alleys and everything of Springfield. And you play as the different characters. All the voice acting is there. For all the original actors are there. Bart, Homer, Lisa, Margie, everybody's there. All the other characters. I mean, it's just so immersive because of the legitimate voices, the three-dimensional look, the attention to detail, and just the expansive world to explore. It makes you feel like you're there. It makes you feel like you are in the Simpsons cartoon. It's amazing. And the last two games for the Nintendo GameCube that I picked as the most immersive games of all time, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 0. Now, as much as I respect these games, and I do, and I respect the franchise Resident Evil, I stick with my claim of the most immersive game and the best horror survival game of all time, beyond debate. You cannot debate this with me because you will lose. Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem, like I said before. But I will give credit where credit is due. This is the one that started the horror fantasy, the horror survival craze in video games on the PlayStation 1, and on the GameCube they just took off to new heights. Resident Evil 0, so atmospheric, so engrossing. You get to play as two different characters at once, which had never been done by a single player in the Resident Evil series, and they do that flawlessly. And it's actually necessary to solve some of the puzzles on that train, but you just feel like you're trapped on this runaway train and you can't get out. And it's claustrophobic in some senses. It really gets to you. It's very well done. And in Resident Evil 4, I mean, you go to England or Europe or whatever it is, and it's no longer these slow-moving zombies that don't know, you know, that are boring already. It's none of that. It's these fast-moving villagers that have been infected by some similar virus, but they're fast-moving and they're pack-hunting you. And it's just so, it's creepy. And the graphics, the way the world is laid out, the looks, the chases, the fights. I mean, it's very, very well done. There are so many heart-pounding moments in this game, and that's another trick for me as far as immersion goes. Scare me, excite me, stimulate me, get me, where I'm like sweaty palms playing this game. You know what I'm saying? So it does the trick, man. And so that is the most immersive games of all time, part 5. We've already gone through the Nintendo Wii, the Nintendo 64, and the Nintendo GameCube. Coming up next, I think I'm going to hit the Dreamcast. Either the Dreamcast or the Super Nintendo. I'm going to do both of them, but I don't know which one I'm going to do next. So I just hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If there's anything you want me to comment and subscribe on, please feel free to do just that. Comment and subscribe. Let me know what's up. Let me know what you're feeling. Let me know if you enjoy these videos. And let me know if there's games on the GameCube that I missed that you feel should be in here. With all respect, man, I ain't got no problem with that. Let me know what's up. God bless y'all. Stay gaming. Holla.